Hello, everybody. Welcome to 3 on Thursday. This is September 22nd, 2022. Let me see. Somebody popped in a comment here. Okay. Just having to do this by myself today because my assistant is on a little mini vacation celebrating her husband's 50th birthday. I am so happy that you could join me today. My name is Sue Sanders, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Lake Ozark, Missouri / Eldon, Missouri. Every week I go live on Facebook at 3 p.m. and demonstrate how to make 3 cards. You can also find me on YouTube. Hi, Cherie. How are you today? Just a few reminders today that I want to talk about. Today is the last day for the weekly deals for the month of September. If you place an order by September 30th of $45 or more, I will send you a package of the masking paper as an added bonus gift. Hi, Teresa. Welcome today. Also, you have only until the end of September to take advantage of the Perfect Partners, which are the stamp sets that are currently in either the annual catalog or the mini catalog, and then they have die sets to match them. So the sets that have the dies for right now through the end of September are the Apple Blossom or the Apple Harvest stamp set, the Fresh Cut Flowers, the Playful Piggies, or it's the Piggy, this birthday piggy, I guess, is the stamp set, Trimming the Tree, Waterfall Canyon, Yeti to Party. Okay, so those are the stamp sets that have dies that will match until the end of September. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Karen. Welcome, welcome. Since I am on by myself today, I can't watch comments on Facebook and in my YouTube. So I'm just on YouTube. I will go back and read all of the comments from both places because I can't answer them or type anything since my assistant is gone today. I printed out so that you could see what the weekly deals are this week. It's the festive foils, and you can't see it very well, but it is in the mini catalog, so you can look at that. The Sweet Sorbet in color metallic ribbon, the iridescent trim, the Evening Evergreen window pane check ribbon, the Stampin' Up! Abigail Rose poster, the Sparkle and Shine sequin assortment, Heart Pearls, Loose Flower Flourishes, the Soft Succulent ribbon, the Gold Shimmer ribbon, the Polished Pink, the Matte Black Dots, the Gold Leafing, the Copper Foil Sheets, and the Pastel Pearls. So that is what is on special right now for this week between now and next Thursday, the 29th. If there is something on there but you don't wish to purchase a whole lot of things, if you will just let me know, and if it works out, I will put an order in and then just have everybody split the shipping on it. So if there's something that you want to get, but you're like, I don't want to pay $7.95 for just one item, I totally understand. Okay, so let's see. First off, I want to show a card that I received in the mail today. I love Happy Mail. So I received this beautiful card from Cherie. I'm assuming that, Cherie, you did this with stencils, and you did it right on the card front. It's so pretty. I love the colors that you used. I'm seeing Sweet Sorbet and Parakeet Party, Orchid Oasis, and Tahitian Tide is what my guess is. And then this would be the Starry Sky. So I really like that idea. That's really pretty. Okay, last week's card winner is Cherie. and you will be receiving these 3 cards that we made last week. So we have the simple card, the stepped up card, and then the Christmas card using the flocking paper. So Cherie, congratulations on those cards. Those will be ready for you. Okay, I think, let me see my notes. Yes, I'm having to make cheat sheet notes so that I can remember to do everything. Okay, so we are going to be using the Hello Harvest stamp set. And I thought I had it out here. Yes, I do. Oh, I have the die set. I don't have the stamp set because all the stamps are being used pretty much. This is the die set. Like I said before, I was just taking some discontinued paper and I'm running all the dies through, and then I'm attaching it to another piece of discontinued paper so that I know what the shapes are and how I can use them and put them together. Okay, so that is the rustic pumpkin dies, and that's not one of those specials, so that you can get anytime. Okay, this is the paper that is the rustic harvest paper. So this piece here comes in a 12, well, they're all 12 by 12s, but this is separated. So the top all has pattern like this, and then the other side has it too. So you cut it down to a 6 by 12, and then you can start cutting it down. There's some more paper. It's got gourds and pumpkins on it. I love this pumpkin paper. Then we have just some plain yellow that has some flowers, and some Cajun craze that has some polka dots. I've used most of all of this. It's the green mossy meadow with the white swirls. So that's the design paper on one side, and then we have the black design on the back side of that paper. And I was trying to figure out how to make a card with this. It's I really like it, and the leaf. So I'm not done, and then you have the diamond check. So that's the rustic harvest paper, and that is in the mini catalog. Excuse me. Okay, I will have all of the card measurements and the supplies used out on my blog. There's my blog. Okay. Oh, I forgot to pick up that piece of paper. If you place an order between now and the end of September, please use my host code. If you want to take a minute to write that down, that is my host code. That helps me out because I can then order the freebie things that I give to you all. And it just helps to keep my costs down. And I'll get rid of that banner here in just a minute. I figured that out. I was playing around with things before we started today. All right, so for this first card, we're going to do some basic watercoloring. I know that we have used the Stampin' Blends in the past, but I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and use some of the colored pencils that we have. And they have 2 different sets, and those are in the annual catalog. I'll get rid of this banner and put it up later. Go back up to my comments. Hello, Pat. I'm glad you were able to get in and join us. If you are on YouTube, you must be signed into your Gmail account for your email so that you can make comments, okay? So what I have done, because I thought it might be simpler, and I could go ahead and still stamp for you all, is I got to find where I put my stamps at. I always think I'm so organized, and there they are, and then I'm not. So here is the stamp set that matches the dies. And so I have them already mounted, and we're going to try something today. Hopefully it will work. But I went ahead and I die cut all my pieces. And now we're going to stamp them. And I'm going to place them inside my, stencil type thing. Okay. And I am using pumpkin pie for my pumpkin. And I am using, I'm using Cajun Craze. There it is. I'm using Cajun Craze as to stamp the pumpkin. Sticking on my spectacles. See, I've got my Night of Navy ones on today because I'm wearing navy blue. All right, so you ink up your stamp, and now I'm going to line up my stamp with my die cut, and we're going to hope this works. Yes, it does. Okay. All right, so there is our pumpkin. And then set that off to the side for my cleaning. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with our little flowers that we're going to actually color with our colored pencils. And that we're going to use Memento black ink. And I found that you need to really stamp this stamp really well in the center because it's got a very fine detailed flower in there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to line this up the best we can so that our die wouldn't you know, I'd forget which direction it went. Nope, it's got to go that direction. Okay, so there's our flowers stamped. Then we're going to do our greeting. And our greeting was cut with the banner that comes with the set. Looking for my banner stencil. And that we are going to stamp in, I haven't even showed you the cards yet, have I? In Mossy Meadow. And I can see that I got some ink on the edges here. Let me wipe that off so that I don't get that all over the... Can you all believe this weather? 90 degrees yesterday, and today I go stand outside and I'm freezing. I'm glad it's supposed to be nice on Saturday since our American Heritage Girls and Trail Life troops will be in the Turkey Fest parade, and then we have 2 booths that we're setting up for. We're just going to kind of ask for donations, give that a little huff, for some of the stuff, the crafts that the kids have made, and I'm taking some cards up there that I could get rid of, hopefully. So now we're going to stamp that. So that is our greeting. All right, so we have all of our pieces. Close up this ink. I am using I did a bow already, and I just used my bow maker. If you don't have a bow maker, I suggest go out and look on Amazon for a little bow maker. This is mine that I have. And I can make different size bows by moving my pegs around. These are a lifesaver. I've gotten to where I almost hardly can't tie bows anymore. My hands just don't want to work that well. All right, so now we're going to color, and it's not going to take me too long, and I am using I'm using Old Olive for my leaves. So I'm just going to kind of color those in real quick. And then we'll go over them with my water painter. And I have to admit, that does not suit me. So give me just a second. I thought I could do it that way by stamping right on the using the whatchamathingy, the stencil thing. But it's not working for me, so we're going to go ahead and stamp a new one, and I'll die cut it real quick. Because it's just not, it's not what I want. It's got too much at the bottom that's white, so we're just going to stamp this up again. That one didn't come out good. I'm looking for my die set. There we go. See how I said you need to get the middle of the stamp because it didn't stamp real well. So last weekend, Dorothy and I and Audrey went to Fulton, and we cooked all weekend for a trail life training. Kind of interesting. We went to 3 different stores to pick up our groceries we had ordered. Walmart, Sam's, and Aldi's. And I get up there to Fulton, and we've unloaded everything. And we're having to wait on the group that was there before us, and they didn't get out of there until like 1 o'clock. And we got up there like at noon or so. I'm just bringing in my cut and emboss machine here. Anyway, I'm talking to the course director and trying to find out what time I needed to have breakfast ready in the morning on Saturday. And he says, well, we have dinner tonight at 5. I said, you do? I said, I didn't know anything about a dinner tonight at 5. He said, yeah. I said, well, okay. I said, let me think what I can do. So I had prepared to make a dish called chicken jumbo, and it's really pretty easy, and it's very good. You just use chicken and carrots and potatoes, cheese. Anyway, the chicken was frozen, of course, because I had planned on thawing it out Saturday. Well, I put it in some hot water, and man, let me tell you, the hot water that was up there at that camp was hot. I mean, after about 20 minutes, my chicken was thawed pretty much to where I could cut it. Not only that, some of it had started to turn white. I know I could trim it off, Cherie, but I don't like to fussy cut, and I'd rather just, when I'm making cards and you all are going to be the recipients of them, I'd rather it be a little bit perfect. So I think I'm going to do the same with, well, my banner, it doesn't look too bad, so we can live with the banner and the pumpkin. So yeah, so that started my weekend off really good, was trying to figure out, okay, hurry scurry to make dinner and have it ready by 5. Only thing was, these men don't know how to tell time. So they didn't start eating until almost quarter to 6. So it had cooled down quite a bit because, of course, I didn't think I needed the warming, those things that you see in schools and restaurants and stuff where you have the warming pans and all that good stuff. So I told the guy, I said, I don't think I'll need to be using those, so don't worry about explaining to me how to use them. Huh, I should have used them because not only were they late for dinner Friday night, they were a little bit late for breakfast on Saturday, and I had made a egg casserole that was really good and simple. And then they got sandwiches for lunch, and then we had gone to Walmart there in Fulton, and I picked up some frozen lasagna to fix for Saturday night with a salad. So that was, and then Audrey made a cake and she decorated it, and it looked like it had 3 mountains on it. So they thought that was kind of cool that she had wanted to do that. But all in all, it was a nice weekend. Dorothy and I had taken stuff to work on some cards, but by the time we got done cooking and cleaning up, we were tired, so we just kind of rested. We didn't really go and do anything. Okay, so I'm done with my old olive. I made my one flower over here, and I'm using the pumpkin pie. So y'all can... Oh, well, Miss Dorothy is on. Yeah, she left yesterday. I can't believe she's taking time out of her vacation to watch this video. I guess she wants to see how well I can do without her. So don't forget, the club for this month will be a week early. That's another story. So I had sent in my registration for this meeting in Kansas, and I'd sent it in way back in the very beginning when they first brought out the notice, because I knew that I was going to be presenting and I didn't want to forget to send it in. Now I'm going to use Daffodil Delight to do these other 2 flowers with, just to kind of make them look fall-ish. I know we're having fall weather now. But I did see the long-term forecast for the last part of the month, and it looks like it's going to be a nice weekend for us to take our troops out camping next weekend. So I'm excited about that, since last year it did nothing but rain the whole weekend. And not that anybody really complained, it was just we couldn't do some of the activities we had planned because of the rain. So it's always better to have nice weather, even though it might be cool. The girls might be a little bit chilly because they are having to finish a requirement for their camping badge, and they have to sleep out under the stars. I'm going to use early espresso now for the inside of my flowers. And you'll see the difference when I put the water to this. It kind of takes away all of my scribble marks, and that's what I call them, is my scribble marks. Okay, where did I lay my... I had it out here because I got it out. What did I do with my water pad? There it is. And I also had some paper towel. I don't know where it ran off to. So we'll grab another piece. I wish I had a revolving room so that I could just kind of turn around in a circle and grab everything. So I don't know if you can see that very well, but it doesn't look very, my coloring isn't very good anyway. But when I start to hit it with this water, because these are watercolor pencils, it does do a much better job of taking out those marks. So me personally, I am starting to come out of my comfort zone. Remember to change and wipe it off before you go to the next color, Sue. Because I didn't used to do a lot of coloring. I will do some fussy cutting, but not a tremendous amount. I'm not like some people that just love to sit and cut. So does anybody have big plans for this weekend? Anybody going to go to the Turkey Fest in Eldon? If you do, stop by and see me. I'm going to be on Maple Street, kind of there by Henley's Jewelry. And then the kids, of course, they'll be in the parade at 10 o'clock. It starts. But I will miss seeing that because I will be at the booths. So, and really, this doesn't take that long to do this watercoloring with these pencils and then the water painter here. But it does add so much more to it than just leaving it colored in. If you do use the water, it does smooth out your lines. I'm going to show you how I did some definition on it so that there was a little bit of shadowing to it. I'll just darken up those centers with my water. Smooth that out. And there we have it. So to me, the water really brings it out. Now all I'm going to do is take my pencil, and I'm not going to water this, but I'm just kind of going over those black lines that the stamp already has in it to show the definition. And I don't have to do every one. I just have to kind of darken some of them up a little bit. So I was talking with my club up in Jeff about doing a specialty class probably in January using the Days to Remember stamp set, which is the calendar stamp set, where we would make a calendar for the year. So it would be at least a half a day's class, and you would have to have the stamp set. What color glasses do I have today? I have my Night of Navy with a little speck of white. Oh, you've got the grandkids this weekend. Well, that sounds like fun, Karen. All right, now we're going to assemble the card. I'll show you what the card's going to look like when it's finished. So that's the card when it's finished, okay? So our measurements, and I meant to do this and completely forgot. I was caught up in doing something else. Your designer series paper is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then you have your bases that are the 4 by 5 1/4. And what happened to I bet I put it away today, thinking that I didn't need it. My Mossy Meadow card base. No. Yes, I did. I put it away. And then you've got your basic 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 card base scored at the 4 1/4. Now with this stamp set, it has these really cute little swirls in them here. And so I thought, okay, I want to use those and put them just in the corner of my base. Oh my goodness, this desk is just such a mess now because I can't find that other stamp. And I know I had it in my case with my kit for this card. Y'all could, there it is, right in front of me. Didn't y'all see that and tell me that it was there? See, y'all could have told me. What I'm thinking, Cherie, is that it will be a calendar class, kind of like what my spring stamp class is. So we would do it all together as one big group. So it wouldn't be, and it won't be in Jeff. I'm going to see if I can't get it up at the church. I just have to contact them and find out what would be the best time in January. So all I'm doing is taking this one little stamp and I am going to stamp it as close up to the corner so that my little foo-foo, whatever you want to call it, pretty much gets up into the corner. Okay, I'm not measuring this. I could have, but that was like, yeah. So I'm just eyeballing it to make it up as close as I can. Okay, so we're done with that stamp. Now we're going to take and place our designer series paper and kind of center it in between those little swirl corners. It's not going to necessarily be perfect, but you can get it pretty close to perfect. Yes, well, it will depend on the weather. So I will have I'll have the date, but then I will have a contingency date in case of bad weather. Because I don't want anybody out driving if it's going to be a snowstorm or anything. I mean, if it starts snowing and has a snowstorm while we're there, hey, we can just all stay there and hunker down. So, all right. So that is there. And now we're going to go ahead and attach this to our card base. Oh my goodness, I am so running late. It's already 3:30. It's that coloring. See, I knew I shouldn't have colored. Now I am sticking my pumpkin straight down onto my base because I'm going to pop up the flowers. So this just gets laid right there in the center at the bottom. And now I'm going to get some dimensionals out. And my take your pick tool. And we're going to put some, well, that didn't come off. We're going to put a dimensional around here so that it will pop the flowers up out of our pumpkin. Come on now. I've been having a terrible time trying to get these dimensionals off of the packaging. And you're going to kind of cover up your stem to kind of look like those flowers are coming out from your pumpkin. And we're going to, there you go again. We're going to put dimensionals on our banner. And this banner, you could find other stamp sets that will fit in this banner to stamp with. I'm looking for some minis here, and I know I got some. There's some, because I used them from my paper pumpkin kit. I don't want this to sag since it is a banner, so I probably overkilled, but that's okay. I'd rather overkill than not have enough and have it sag when it goes through the mail. Okay, now we're going to put this right up here at the top, and it says, wishing you the loveliest day, and that is in the stamp set. And we're going to take a mini glue dot. Come on, get off of me. And we're going to roll it up in a little ball and put it on the back of our bow. And we're going to put our bow right there by our flowers, just like that. Here is my inside piece that I did not, oh, I did. It's wishing you the loveliest day, and then I made this into a birthday card. So I'm going to attach our DSP down here at the bottom, and then you all can add whatever sentiment you would like to add to yours. This makes a cute birthday card or a thinking of you card. And this is just a piece of scrap that I had from cutting the card. And we'll just trim that off to fit. The thing is sticking to me. So there is your first card. All right. Hopefully the next ones don't take us 30 minutes to make, because I don't like keeping y'all past an hour. I really try to keep it down to that. But I'm getting to where I have to clean up my mess, or my mess just gets away from me. Okay. So our number 2 card is kind of a unique card, and it's kind of a fun card to make. And we are using the pumpkin dies out of this. So we've cut 2 pumpkins, and I've got 3 of the little vines. We got 1 stamp, and we've got some sponge daubers we're going to use. We're going to use pumpkin pie and soft suede. And this is the card that we're making. Okay, now this is a die, and it is in a set of 2, and it is called the, I had it out here, split card texture dies. So you get this die, and then you also get a die that cuts out a half that are like daisies. So they cut out like flowers. And I had made a card using both of these, a couple months ago after I got them. These are in the annual catalog. And if you want confetti, you want to keep all these little square things, because then you could put that in a birthday card, and when they open it up, they'd get paper all over them, right? And you could do that to somebody that you really want to upset. Okay, so let me get all these scraps out. They didn't cut all the way through. What did it do? It's going to be one of those days again, ladies. So we're going to line this back up. And I'm going to run that back through that die cut. Because it didn't release all those back little pieces, and it should have. See, every time I think I'm doing something good by pre-cutting something, I end up having to cut it again anyway. So I'm going to run this back through the die machine real quick. And I probably should have ran it through twice when I started, and I just didn't. I always like to hang on to these that are popping for me, because I never know if you're not making cherry pies this weekend, Pat. You don't start making apple pies until the 8th. So at least that's what I have on my schedule. So yeah, if anybody wants apple pies, our church makes apple pies and sells them for missions. And I just kind of scrape all these extra little pieces out. Like I said, these make really cool confetti things. So if you want to upset somebody on their birthday, I have a son-in-law that's birthday. His birthday is coming up next week. Same day as my sister's and same day as Cindy's. Come on and pop off of there. Why did it not cut it through? Don't know. I think it's sad because my assistant is gone. I have nobody to keep me on track. Okay, we're going to try this one more time, and then if it doesn't work, I'm getting a new piece of paper. Because it doesn't look right when you leave some of them in there. It takes away the whole effect of that whole die. When I did this card yesterday for my mock-up card, I had no issues whatsoever. We'll put it through on a little bit of an angle this time. Maybe that'll help. I want to make sure it gets cut now, so. I know that, Dorothy. I am running late because my timekeeper isn't here. And it's kind of difficult to watch. There we go. Now they all popped out. Watch my time, watch my comments, try to stamp. All right. All these little bits. I saved them from yesterday because I think I'm going to send them to my sister. I think she'll like that and enjoy it. Ha ha. No, she won't. Okay. Then, you know, this is so aggravating because I cut all my papers yesterday. My DSP. Luckily, I have that piece that I cut to show you. I used the yellow, and it is cut. Both of these pieces are cut at 4 by 5 1/4. So they're going to lay on top of each other. If you want, you could definitely use the adhesive sheets for this. because it is so fine. I did not, and I will tell you why. I wasn't real worried if those were sticking up. I just did a thin layer of glue around all of the edges so that the edges would stick down. And I can see where I didn't match this die up, so you will receive the card that is perfect. It doesn't have a couple of squares cut apart. And then you're just going to lay that down on your designer series paper. And don't worry about it if you've got a little bit hanging out like I do there, because all I'm going to do then is trim that off. Because that paper is not, what's going to show is that very vanilla. So I'm just trimming off that excess that was hanging out from my die cut. Okay. All right, to the fun part. To make this pumpkin look realistic, or more realistic, I think, I am going to ink around the edges on it. And I'm going to ink with the pumpkin pie, and then I'm going to go over it with the soft suede. So we're going to do that really quick because it doesn't take long to do that. Okay, Mary, we're starting to sell them now. So if you want to let me know how many you want to order, then I can go ahead and put them on an order sheet for you. They're $9 a piece, or if you buy 5, you get the 6th one free. So for $45, you get 6 pies. And they are really good. I've got to start eating mine so that I have room in my freezer for some more. I kind of hoard them, kind of like hoarding paper. I don't know when I'm going to get more, so I have to keep them. So I'm just kind of going around my edges to darken up my edges to make it really pop with that pumpkin pie. Now for my center one, I'm kind of going over the whole thing. It does have you can't really see it on camera, but it has a embossed, I don't know if you can really see it on camera or not, but right in here it's embossed, and that the die does that. The die embosses and cuts it at the same time. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my soft suede. Set that out of the way a minute. And I'm going to go around just the edges to kind of make them dark. And everybody knows that when you're doing inking like this, you're never going to get identical. I mean, you could, I won't anyway. But that's to me, that's the uniqueness of a homemade card, is I know that when I send a card, there might be something just slightly different. I mean, even when you all get my thank you cards, there is a slight difference to it somehow. That one I might have got a little bit too much into the center of it, but it'll be okay. Because not all pumpkins are perfect. And some of this isn't even going to show by the time we layer the 2 pumpkins on top of each other. But you never know which side it's going to show, so you want to go ahead and make sure that you've done both of them. Okay. Now, for my little stem, I cut this out of Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to ink it with the soft suede also to kind of make it look like a pumpkin stem, which isn't necessarily all green. Sometimes it's got some browns in it. So we're just going to ink that up. And we are stamping in Mossy Meadow, and we're stamping the verse Beyond Grateful. And this is from the Charming Sentiment stamp set. I chose not to have this die cut. I kind of liked it just right on the card itself down here in the corner. We're going to put the glasses on. You'll take 2 apple. Okay. All right. Thank you, Cherie. I'll put your name down, Mary, and then I will work out to where I can bring them up to you when I come up for class when they're done. I'll have to see when our class is and then tell them that I need 2 pies that day. All right. I know I had it here. There it is. I want to get my stamping mat or my Pearson mat so that I can stamp this with the photopolymer and get it a good stamp. So I'm just stamping this down here in the corner. Beyond Grateful. And I see here where I have a little bit more yellow hanging out the edge, so we're going to trim that off. Don't want no hangouts. Close our inks up. Yep, I knew I was going to do that. Just stuck my finger in that pumpkin pie. Okay, now to assemble our card, we are going to attach, and I'm going to move this messy mat. Where's my other? There it is. I don't want that ink to get on my card base, because I know that has happened, and I don't want that to happen. So let's take it. Fold that over. Okay. Bring in our silicone mat. Now we're going to assemble our pumpkin. All right, and I just used my glue. Oh yeah, I'll check and see, Pat, when they're going to do the cherry pies. And you just have to kind of judge where you want to put your pumpkin together at. And then you're going to take your stem, and I just put glue down here at the bottom where it's kind of rounded, and stuck that on the back of my pumpkin, like so. And we're going to stick this down to our card. Just use glue. That's why I would suggest don't necessarily use the adhesive sheets on this die, because if you don't get it down straight or something, you don't have any give with that adhesive sheet. At least with the glue, you can shift it and then cut it off. we're going to put our pumpkin there in the corner. And I did pop this up because I didn't want it to have to cost more. And then I did put adhesive sheet on my little swirls so that I didn't have to glue them. I actually remembered to do that even on my example one. So I used one of them up here, and I just kind of stuck it up here to the top where it kind of comes out from the top, however you want to do that. And then I put two down here at the bottom. There's a little bit stuck there. Okay. And this is just all personal preference on where you want to put your little vines. But they do add so much to this pumpkin. To touch my words, but it can go up next to them. So there is our card. I did not do anything on the inside of the very vanilla, so you will get the inside of that card. So that is card number 2. Okay, the card you will actually be getting, because I messed up the one that I made today and it doesn't have squares here. I used Old Olive instead of the Mossy Meadow, but I like the Mossy Meadow dark green better. So you'll get the one with the Old Olive, because that's what my first example was made out of. Okay, get those put away, and our third card is not very hard, so it shouldn't take me too long. 3 minutes? A little bit longer than 3 minutes, I think, but all right, so let's get our stamps out. I used the rectangle dies, and I used the second and third smallest is what I used for the card. This is that paper that has the great big mums on it, and I just absolutely love it. And it was kind of hard to thought, okay, how do we design a card that you're going to really focus on that paper? So I decided to do this fun fold. So it kind of opens up like this, and then you can close it. So we're going to stamp with our Mary Merlot. And I'll give you a hint. The Hello stamp that comes in this stamp set is a block, but it does have like lines in it, so it's not supposed to be full on dark, if that makes any sense. Okay, if you can't really tell in the video, but you've got extra little lines. You want to kind of stamp towards the left because we're going to fold the right side. So there is our hello. And then we're going to attach that to this. We are going to stamp our inside, and I am going to just lay this paper down in case I mess up to know where I'm going to stamp at. And I'm going to stamp this greeting, and it says, "You are wonderful in every way." Whoops. Piercing mat. forgot to shut my alarm off for what I needed to get done yesterday. So you are wonderful in every way. I tell you what, sometimes I just can't handle these newer ink pads. They're harder for me to get closed. Okay, now we're going to go ahead. Let me back up. This piece of DSP is 4 by 5 1/4. Then I cut off my ruler is no longer here where I usually keep it. I cut off 2.5 inches, I believe this is what it is. Yes. So I cut it at 2.5 inches, which left me a 1.5 inch that we're going to put on this side of our card. And you could use the other side of the DSP, so you could use just about any DSP and then a coordinating color on your side. But I wanted the flowers to kind of join up when the card was closed. Okay. All right, now we have to attach these two pieces. Come on. And you're going to stick it, not necessarily in the center, because you're not going to see the right-hand side. So you want to have enough border on the left side. Okay. Bring out my trimmer real quick, because we need to score at 1/2 inch on the right-hand side, because that is going to get folded over. So I'm just going to score it, and I'm scoring through 2 pieces of cardstock, and then you're going to fold it over like so. I'll show that again to you. So I've scored my end on the right hand side. I want to make sure that this is really glued down, so I need to put some more glue down here, because this is what makes our fun fold opening. Okay, now that we know kind of where our fold is, we're going to stamp with the crushed curry. And I know I'm going to be stamping off. And of course, I did that before I adhered it, but that's okay. We're going to stamp and stamp and stamp. We just stamped a few of those little flowers, and that's also in the set. And while we have that out, we're going to go ahead and stamp our flowers on our inside of our card. So it just kind of dresses that up. We're going to now take this piece here and center it about so, and we are going to take some tear and tape Oops, wrong drawer. Here it is. And we're going to add some tear and tape to the back of this so that it will stick really well. So have any of you been busy making any cards? Christmas cards. Christmas will be here before we know it. I have a feeling. I know it will be for me. All right, so you're just going to tape that, and then we're going to adhere this. First, we're going to close our ink because, oh, I'm not doing too bad. I'm not going to run over too long. Now I'm just using my Stampin' Seal Plus. Do want to show you all something because you may be having the same issues that I'm having. This is going to get laid then in the center of our card. Oops. I knew I did that wrong. Give me just a second. Come on, release. I have to say I'm getting really good. Should be. Do it this way so that I can make sure that it's going to fold over. There we go. You might have to fold over your front piece to make sure that but that's not straight then, Sue. Oh my goodness. It's one of those days. Definitely one of those days. Well, I'll tell you how we're going to fix that. Because it's this little piece that's not quite right. So, we're going to pull that off. And we are going to re-stick that. This is what you call card surgery here. Not to worry, you're not going to get the one I did surgery on. You're going to get the good one that I made yesterday. Because I don't know why it wasn't closing correctly. Because you cannot do the edge right over to where your score line is. Otherwise, it won't attach right, or it won't close right. So I'm going to attach that. Leaving a little bit of space. Make sure it's going in the right direction. So I've got probably about a 1/16 of an inch from the card inside. Now let's see if that's going to work. Yep. Okay. That gets placed in there. I'm going to make sure that it's more or less centered in there. And then we're going to take this piece. We are going to put it on the left-hand side. So how many of you have been having some issues with your cling stamps and having the cling so strong that it kind of messes up your stamp? I know I've had that problem, and I'm going to show you what I do for it. So this is our third card. I still have some more surgery to do on this. So you will all be getting this nice, pretty one that has the gemstones on it. Those are the champagne rhinestones. So I guess it's true. I can make one card perfect, and the next cards are like, yeah. Okay, so let me show you. Get my stamp set. So sometimes when I go to get a stamp out, it's clinged so well that it doesn't want to lift up. And if I start lifting it up, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear that sticker off of the back of my stamp. Well, if you tear that sticker off, you're also going to tear off that foam. So what I have been doing is I've been taking the little spatula end of my Take Your Pick tool, and that's why this tool is so cool. And I've kind of been laying it underneath the stamp and lifting it up because it can get right under that sticker. And so then I'm not going to ruin my stamp by pulling this sticker off. Okay, because if you pull that sticker off and you ruin that layer of foam underneath there, it's not going to be very good for your card. Okay, so that's just an idea for you to use take your pick and lift up your dies with it, and you might have to kind of just move it around and do it. So don't become impatient because you don't want to rip those stickers. Okay, these will eventually, I think, destickify a little bit. I might start trying to destickify them on my you don't want to destickify them too much, but anyway, that's just an idea for you, ladies. All right, so let me bring in the 3 cards for this week. Card number 3. I need a revolving desk. Card number 3, card number 2, and card number 1. And I just touched something on my computer. Don't know what I touched. Full screen, I think. Let's see, what did I do? Yep. Now I lost comments. See, I can't live without my assistant. Nope, we are not going to mess with it. Exit full screen. There we go. Okay. Don't want to chat, so get rid of that. Don't know how to do that. Okay. All right, so I can no longer see your comments. I don't know why, but I hit something and I lost it. So I don't want to. I hit that. No. I'm still. There we go. There's my comments back. Okay. Good deal. All right. So Cherie likes number 1 the best. Cindy likes all of them. Okay. Terry, are you still with us? Do you have a preference for this week's cards? Let me know in comments. Karen, Pat, Dorothy. Mary can't pick just one. Karen likes number 2. Okay. I am going to put up my banner once again. Cindy likes number 1 by a hair of my host code. So there is my host code for September. So remember, if you put in an order of $45 between now and next Thursday, or Friday. No, do I have it as Thursday? Thursday, because I'm going to be going camping on Friday. No, let's just give you till Thursday. I can always do the orders when I get back home. But if you want something from the weekly deals and you don't want to put in a big order, send me an email of what it is you want, and I can put that order in as one order for all of us. Okay, because there's a few things that I need to get an order in for anyway. And that way it'll save you a little bit on the shipping. We'll just do one big order and split the shipping amongst whoever has ordered something. Okay? So, all right, ladies, well, you all have a great week, and I will see you back here on next Thursday, the 29th. Bye.